the Earth appears enormous to us. With countless countries, billions of people, different beliefs, faiths, and ideologies, it feels vast and limitless. But in reality, Earth is far smaller than we imagine, smaller than any estimate we could ever make. In the grand scale of the universe, our planet is just a tiny dot. Today, we take you on a journey into that vast universe. A journey that does not only move forward into space, but also backward in time. As we leave Earth and our solar system behind, we begin to disappear into the past. Step by step, we move toward the point where this entire cosmic story truly began, where Earth, the skies, and everything we know came into existence. Along the way, we will encounter places most of us have never even imagined. We will pass through regions of space that challenge our understanding. We will explore whether beings like us, our cosmic lookalikes, exist somewhere in the universe. We will meet objects that are millions of miles away, yet feel strangely familiar. Some may even seem as if they speak our language. And yes, you will see it for yourself, because all of this lies within this very journey. In this voyage, we will also discover worlds that could one day become humanity's future home. Today, you take your very first flight with us on this extraordinary journey. Our journey begins from the nearest point in space where humans can actually land. A place located 0.384 million kilometers away from Earth. This is the closest celestial stop we have. This place is the Moon, the nearest heavenly body to our planet. The Moon is so close that a spacecraft can reach it in just 3 to 4 days. Yet the distance between Earth and the Moon is so vast that all the planets of our solar system, including Earth itself, could fit within this gap. Nearly 30 Earths could be placed side by side in the space between Earth and the Moon. For millions of years, this round, silent rock has been one of humanity's most beautiful dreams. In childhood stories, many of us were told that an old woman lived on the Moon, endlessly weaving thread on a spindle. But when Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin landed on the Moon, no such old woman was found. The missions that followed found none either. One by one, science quietly took away a beautiful tale from ancient times. Similar stories existed across cultures. Even today, many people who avoid scientific inquiry continue to believe in such tales. Many still imagine shapes and faces on the Moon according to their own beliefs. But what are these images really? In truth, they are not images at all. So if these shapes are not faces or figures, then what are they? In reality, what we see on the Moon's surface is the result of ancient violence. Vast fields of hardened lava and fine ash cover the Moon. When astronauts brought lunar samples back to Earth, scientific research revealed something astonishing. About 3.5 billion years ago, the Moon was home to countless volcanic eruptions. Massive volcanoes erupted repeatedly, releasing enormous amounts of lava. This lava flowed for thousands of miles across the Moon's surface. Over time, it cooled and solidified. When viewed from Earth, these hardened lava plains appear as dark patches. Scientists named them the Seas of the Moon, or Maria. Each of these seas has its own name, such as the Sea of Tranquility, the Sea of Crises, the Sea of Serenity, and many others. The brighter regions of the Moon tell a different story. These areas are covered with extremely fine ash produced by volcanic explosions. The ash settled gently over hills and plains, much like snowfall. When sunlight strikes this surface, it reflects in all directions, giving the Moon its glowing appearance. Neil Armstrong landed on this very soft layer of lunar ash. That is why his footprints appeared so deep and clear. Humans first walked on the Moon more than half a century ago. Yet even today, those footprints look as fresh as if they were made just yesterday. The reason is simple: the Moon has no atmosphere. There is no air, no wind, no clouds, and no rain. Nothing exists there to erase these marks. This means that human footprints on the Moon may remain preserved for millions, perhaps even billions, of years. But an unsettling question remains. Will humanity itself still exist in its present form by then? Or will evolution have reshaped us into something else? Or perhaps humanity's own violent nature may bring about its end? Whatever the answer, one thing is certain. Whether humans survive or not, their footprints will remain on the moon for countless ages. And it was not only Neil Armstrong who left his mark there. The moon carries the footprints of 12 astronauts from the Apollo missions that followed, Apollo 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, and 17. The surface also bears the tracks of lunar vehicles that once rolled across its silent plains. Even the marks left by astronaut Alan Shepard, who famously played a game of golf on the moon, will remain there for ages beyond imagination. But among all these marks, there is one story that feels deeply human. A story not of science alone, but of emotion. Few people know that one man fulfilled a promise that sounds almost impossible. In stories and poetry, lovers often promise to bring the moon or the stars for their beloved, a promise that can never truly be kept. But this man promised something different. He promised his daughter that he would write her name on the moon. And he kept that promise. This man was Eugene Cernan, the commander of the Apollo 17 mission. In 1972, he spent 3 days on the lunar surface. Before leaving the moon for the final time, he bent down and, using his gloved hand, wrote the name, Tracy, his daughter's name, on the moon's bright dust. It was a gift meant to last forever. Cernan was deeply moved by the moment. Yet throughout his life, he carried a quiet regret. Despite having cameras and video equipment available, he forgot to take a photograph of the name written on the moon. Apollo 17 was the last mission to carry humans to the lunar surface. After that, no one returned. That moment marked the end of an era. For decades, the moon remained untouched by human footsteps. Neil Armstrong, the first man to walk on the moon, is no longer alive. Eugene Cernan, the last man to leave it, is also gone. But history does not stand still. Once again, humanity is preparing to return. Plans are already in motion to establish a permanent human presence on the moon. Within the next 10 to 15 years, this may become a reality. A lunar base would allow scientists to study the moon in ways never before possible and explore its resources, opening a new chapter in human exploration. Yet even today, there is something about the moon we rarely question. We see it every night, but we only ever see one side. We see the moon almost every night. It rises, it glows, it changes its shape, but there is one thing that never changes. We always see the same face of the moon. The bright areas, the dark patches, the familiar marks, unchanged for millions of years. Have you ever wondered why? Why is it that over such a long span of time, humanity has never naturally seen the other side of the moon? The answer lies in the moon's motion. The moon does not simply move around the Earth. It also rotates on its own axis. What makes it unique is that both motions take exactly the same amount of time. The moon completes one rotation on its axis in the same time it takes to complete one orbit around Earth. Because of this perfect synchronization, only one side of the moon ever faces us. This phenomenon is known as tidal locking. For thousands of years, the far side of the moon remained a mystery, hidden forever from human eyes. But human curiosity does not stop at limitations. With the advancement of space technology, mankind finally succeeded in photographing the moon's far side. For the first time, humanity saw what had remained unseen since the birth of the moon itself. What we discovered was surprising. The far side of the moon is different. It is brighter, more rugged, and has far fewer dark lava plains than the side facing Earth. The familiar black seas are scarce there. Had poets and storytellers known of this side, perhaps their imagination of beauty would have taken a different form. In recent years, robotic missions, especially from China, have not only photographed the far side but have also successfully landed there. These missions have carried out experiments that may help us understand the origins of Earth and the moon more clearly than ever before. And that origin is deeply connected. Scientists believe that the moon was once a part of Earth itself. About 4.5 billion years ago, a massive celestial body collided with the young Earth. The impact was so powerful that a huge portion of Earth's material was thrown into space. Over time, this debris gathered together, forming the moon. Bound by gravity, the moon began to orbit the larger body, the Earth. This bond still exists today, but it is slowly changing. The moon is not stationary. It is gradually moving away from Earth. Every year, the moon drifts farther, by about 3.8 centimeters. This may seem insignificant, but over millions of years, the distance becomes enormous. How do we know this with such precision? Before leaving the moon, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin performed one final task. They placed a special device on the lunar surface, a retroreflector. This device reflects laser light directly back to its source. Later Apollo missions installed similar reflectors at different locations on the moon. From Earth, scientists fire laser beams toward these mirrors. The light travels to the moon and returns. By measuring the time it takes, scientists can calculate the moon's distance with extraordinary accuracy. These reflectors are still functioning today, silently reporting the moon's gradual retreat. At this rate, the moon will eventually drift so far away that it will no longer be visible from Earth. But there is no cause for alarm. Long before that happens, about 45 billion years earlier, the Sun itself will reach the end of its life. The Earth, too, will become a forgotten story, lost in time. Unless humanity finds another path. If the human race wishes to survive the distant future, it must learn to live beyond Earth, on other planets, on the moon, or in the vastness of space itself. But survival alone is not enough. It must be achieved with understanding, cooperation, and compassion. Because in the end, love conquers all. And now, our journey moves forward, toward the Sun. It is said in ancient beliefs that before the end of time, the Sun will rise from the west. Between us and the Sun lies a place where this strange phenomenon already occurs, a land where every single day feels like doomsday. We will take you there. But that story belongs to the next episode of The Whole Universe. Please subscribe.